Do you know that as a pregnant woman in the UK, there are laws that protect you against being discriminated? Do you know no employer can retrieve your certificate of sponsorship all because you tell them you are pregnant? What if I tell you that you get paid for giving birth in the UK? Like there are some benefits you can enjoy, like the statutory maternity pay or maternity allowance from government that is being paid to you weekly for giving birth in the UK. Please watch this video to find out the requirements and documents needed to access this so that you can claim all the benefits. Perhaps you're in the UK and you are pregnant, you are thinking, what should I do next? This video is perfectly for you. You need to watch the end so that you can, in this video, I'm going to share with you the benefits that are not part of public fund that you can enjoy for giving birth in the UK, and as well as the document you can use to apply to access this benefit. If you're seeing my face for the very first time, my name is Nkuka Victory. In this YouTube channel, I share content that relates to traveling overseas and how you can settle with ease. Please subscribe to this channel, and before you proceed, do it now. Subscribe and like this video. You won't regret being part of the channel because you are going to learn a lot of useful content for yourself, for your friends, and for your family members. To start with, I'm going to talk about the UK laws. First thing you need to know is that no employer can discriminate you if you are pregnant. They can't tell you that you've lost your job for being pregnant. Okay, UK law protects you, so you don't need to be scared if you are going to lose your job or not. Pregnancy is not a disease according to the law, and we all know pregnancy is a blessing, so nobody's going to treat another woman higher than you all because you are pregnant. Secondly, in the United Kingdom, for workers, mostly when you have the allowance to live and work in the UK, you are entitled to a maternity pay and a 1-year maternity leave. You're entitled to 6 months ordinary leave and 6 months additional. When you put them together, it's a complete 1-year maternity leave, and there is a possibility for extension under some conditions in the UK. The only thing that you can be concerned about if you are really heavily pregnant is the airline, because some airlines that you take for international flight may not allow you to travel when you are heavily pregnant. That's because they don't want you to deliver while you are in the plane. You understand, because such emergencies may not be managed appropriately. So you can actually travel with pregnancy as a student or as a worker if you can manage it. Another thing you need to know is that in the UK law, you need to have worked for your employer for a certain amount of time and to be entitled to statutory maternity pay. I will soon explain so much about it as we go on in this video. And you need to have informed your employer 15 weeks before the due date. That's before your estimated date of the leave. You need to inform your employer, and this is because to give them enough time to prepare for your pay, that's if you be entitled to it, or to tell you what next to do on how to seek for maternity allowance from government, that's if you're not entitled to statutory maternity pay. Now let's talk about the benefits you enjoy for giving birth to the UK that is not part of public fund. The first thing is the statutory maternity pay. If you're entitled to the statutory maternity pay, also known as SMP, you'll be paid for 39 weeks by your employer. The first 6 weeks, they are going to pay you by virtue of their calculation. It depends on how much you work, like averagely how much you earn. If you be entitled to it by your employer, they will do their calculation and they will send you a letter prior to that time to inform you of how much you will be paid within the period of your leave, within the period of 39 weeks. That tells you that if you take 1 year, you are going to be paid completely for 9 months, then the other 3 months will be unpaid. Then, if you don't qualify for the statutory maternity pay, you can apply for maternity allowance from the government. What you need to do is to take the form given to you by your employer showing the reason why they are not going to pay you. You can go on the gov.uk website, you download the maternity allowance application form. I have one with me and I'm going to show you how you can apply what to fill in the different place. So you just apply and send it to them. They will now respond to you telling you if you are qualified for the pay. Basically, if you've contributed national insurance, you've paid for some time. If your employer is not paying you statutory maternity pay, the government will pay you per week when you are on maternity leave. The money may not be so much. It's about £680 now. It was 600, but it's been increased slightly. It's not so much, but it's something compared to not having anything at all. Now let's talk about the documents you need to access this benefit. For the first benefit I talked about, the statutory maternity pay, the document you need to access it is basically the MAT-B1 form. This MAT-B1 form is a maternity certificate that will be given to you by your midwife. I made a video to tell you about what you need to do when you know you are pregnant in the UK, or when you know you are pregnant and you're coming to the UK. I will leave the link of that video in the description box so that you can go watch the video. I mentioned things like registering with the GP, midwife, and the like, so you find all the details. I'm not going to repeat what I've said because it's already in the other video to avoid this video being too long. So let's go. When you've registered with the midwife, they give you a form, which is a maternity certificate. That's like a proof that you are pregnant. That's what you need to present to your employer to tell them, okay, you are pregnant, and whatever they are paying you applies to perhaps there is a stillbirth. We don't always pray for that. So long you have informed them and you are still pregnant 15 weeks before due date, you will be paid for it. Okay, so you just basically need that maternity form and you take it to them, fill out some form they will ask you, and they process and tell you if you are qualified for pay or not. Now, when they send you a letter, which is the SMP, that's Statutory Maternity Form 1, when they send you that letter to tell you that you are not qualified for pay, the next thing to do is to apply for maternity allowance from the government. This is what the form looks like, and I'll just read, I'll just walk you through some of the details of the form. The first page, we have your details, your national insurance number, because it's your national insurance, the contribution for your national insurance that forms most of your maternity allowance. So the first page is like your national insurance number, and your employer in the part B, they will tick I cannot pay you SMP, as you can see. Then they will ask you when is your baby due, the qualifying week, they will tell you everything. Then the other page will contain a detailed reason. For this, you can see. Then the other page will contain a detailed reason. For this, you can see that my employer rightly ticked that I was not employed long enough. I'm reading from the book now that I wasn't employed long enough. So to qualify for this, you must be employed by the employer for a continuous period of at least 26 weeks into the 15th week before the week your baby is due. Even if your baby is born early, you still would not have been employed by me for a continuous period of at least 26 weeks into the 15th week before your baby is due. That means that at that 15th week before your baby is due, it should be said that you've been employed continuously by this employer for 26 weeks. Yes, so that's the reason why, for me, I wasn't entitled to statutory maternity pay. And if you are coming in pregnant, you may not be entitled to statutory maternity pay because of this reason. Then other reasons could be because your average weekly earnings were not high enough, because you did not tell them soon enough that you will stop work to have your baby, because they need to plan. So you need to tell your employer as soon as possible. Also, it may be because you did not give them medical evidence. That's why you need to carry MAT-B1 form to them. Another reason is because if you didn't tell them soon enough that your baby has been born, more like you didn't even tell them you are stopping work, they may decide not to pay you by law. Or if you were in legal custody or you started work after birth, you won't be entitled to pay. So when they give you this form, you go to the gov.uk website, you download the maternity allowance form, or you can request for it to be posted to your house address. And I will show you what the maternity allowance form looks like. This is the document. This is what the maternity allowance form look like. For those in England, Scotland, Wales, it's basically the same. The first page is just all about you, introducing yourself, your address. They'll not ask you about your work. You have to tell them the reason why your employer is not paying you. Then you tell them about Now this is the test period. They'll ask you the test period. Like, so they checked for themselves to know if really you were entitled to it and you were not paid. So they check for themselves to confirm if they should pay you. And after that, they ask for your employment. They ask for other employment. It's a long document. They ask for other employment. It's not everything in the document you should fill, okay? So if you have been worked for an agency, you can write if you've worked for an agency previously, you can put the details there. And if you weren't employed or you're self-employed, you put the details there as well. Or perhaps your husband or your partner has a business and that's what you were managing, you put the details there. They can pay you maternity allowance if you've contributed national insurance. They will ask you different questions. Have you traveled abroad within your test period? Because they need you to have continuously worked in the UK. So they try to take all those details. As part of the form, they ask you to put your account number and you tell them when you want to be paid. If you want to be paid if you want to be paid monthly or weekly or that's fortnightly. If you want to be paid every 2 weeks, you let them know. With this document, you are going to attach your Mat B1 form. That's a proof that you are pregnant. You are going to attach your pay slips for at least 3 months. Within your test period, you are going to attach the pay slips to them and you send it by post, okay? When you send it by post, you wait to get a response from them. The response could be positive, that you were entitled to maternity allowance, or you are not entitled to maternity allowance. So whichever way, for most students, they are not entitled to this, except they have been in UK working under an employer, okay? But sometimes when they come to school, they are not even, when they come for school purposes, they are not entitled to the 1 year, or because the school keeps running. So you may have, sometimes school gives 2 weeks to 6 weeks, but not more than that, for you to just recuperate and then you come back to school, you come back. So if you are coming as a student and you are pregnant, please put this into consideration. Your capacity to cope with your academic work, finances, where you should stay. Another thing I want to tell you that you need to take note, if you're coming with pregnancy, please, you need to sort out your accommodation. The first accommodation you are going to be getting, try to get the one that is a bit spacious. Don't get a studio, at least a bedroom flat, even though it's ensuite. But what can be spacious, because when the midwives are assigned to you, they will come to your house to see where you stay, to see if you can actually house a baby there. And like for I and my husband, we were living in a studio prior to giving birth to our baby, and they refused blatantly. They said we can't live there with the baby. So we managed to stay there throughout conception. Immediately we gave birth to the baby, they came and they kept hitting on the same thing until we moved from that house. You may not want to go through that stress of moving. Like we moved 3 weeks after baby was born. You won't want to go through that stress. So you can just get a house that you can stay even with the baby. So you need to put that into consideration when you are searching for a house. Also, as benefit of being pregnant in the UK, you are entitled to free healthcare services. Your checkups are free. Your drugs will be given to you, except OTCs. Your drugs will be given to you. The scans are free. Everything you need is free. And the maternity certificate form, that's the Mat B1 form your midwife will give you, gives you free access to medical and dental care within the space of a year. Like after I delivered my baby, I had to go for a dental surgery to check my tooth, and ordinarily I should pay up to 100 or 200 pounds for it, and everything was absolutely free under the maternity cover. And another thing I want to say is that for you as a man, if you are coming to the UK, you are entitled to, or you are in the UK, your wife is pregnant, you're entitled to 2 weeks paternity leave. It could be paid as well or unpaid. If you've worked long enough for your employer, while you are home for 2 weeks assisting your wife, it's you will be paid for that. But if you have not worked long enough from their calculation, you will not be paid. But you'll be entitled to paternity leave. Okay, I know this is not common in some home country. Another thing you want to know is that for the there is an avenue for you to share. There's something that you can for you and your wife, for instance, you can benefit for some of your wife's maternity leave. So it will be like a shared parental leave. Okay, so the man can choose to stay at home, the woman will stay at home for a while, then pass on the leave. You can, there are provisions and there's flexibility for that as well in the UK. I believe this video has been insightful and I believe you've learned a lot from this video. Don't forget to check out the first video that tells you about what you should do before coming. There's just so much information in that video and there is so much guidelines as well. Please use the comment section to ask your questions, seek clarity. I'm more than happy to do a comprehensive video to answer all your questions. They can't be too much. Just ask them, seek clarity from the comment section. Anything you are confused about, you're not so sure, please use the comment section. As well as give your feedback, not just clarity, give your feedback. If it was a good video, say it in the, use the comment section, say it in the comment section. Okay, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Share this video to your friends and family that you know that they are willing to relocate or they want to relocate and the wife is pregnant, your friend is pregnant, as the case may be, or couples that are contemplating if they should begin their family, like begin having children now or till they relocate. Share this video with them and I know it's going to be very insightful. So till I do my other videos, bye.